This is the newest post from Grandfather's Corner, and here's Lee. Lee, let's say we get a clock, and you get a clock from a relative or a friend, or maybe you see it at a garage sale. Now, how do you know that this clock's worth anything? What should you look for?
Well, number one, you would check and see where the clock came from. Whether it was made in Germany, France, Japan.
Well, where do you look for something like that? Let's say I got a clock. What do I do? Turn it over. Where's it going to be marked on the clock? Do I look at the unit inside itself?
Well, your lettering outside the clock will actually tell you what type of clock it is, whether it's a German clock or whether it's Japanese. If it's Japanese, you don't want it. It would pay to put a quartz unit in the Japanese clock. Yes.
Now, why is that? I heard you mention time before that, you know, a Japanese unit is what you guys, the clock professionals, would consider almost a throwaway unit. Why would that be? Is it just because of the materials that they're made from?
Yes, yes. It's the material that they put in Japanese clocks.
How about Korean clocks?
Korean clocks are the same thing. They just don't have the proper...
What, makeup? Or do the parts wear out faster?
Yes, your parts do wear out faster.
Now, it's not that they're hard to fix, they're just not worth fixing.
Yes.
Because you're only going to get a few years out of them?
That is right.
Now, in your opinion, what are the best manufacturer? What's the best type of clock?
Well,
I mean, where was it made from?
US.
Would you think the U.S. or Germany or what?
Well, German clock is always a good clock. They make very good clocks. U.S. There are a lot of good clocks they made here in the United States. Some are made in France and England.
Huh.
But the majority of clocks are from Germany and the United States.
So let's say that I do have a clock and it is a Chinese or Japanese clock, and you know, I got it from my family. It's something that means a lot to us, but now we're taking a look at it on your advice and we see that it's in fact a Chinese unit. Now, as you said, it's not worth fixing. What can I do? You mentioned putting a quartz unit in it?
Well, at my first glance would be, I would look at the clock, and from the condition the clock is in and from the looks of it, I might tell you, this clock belongs in the garbage can.
Mm-hmm.
If it's halfway decent and looks fairly decent, I would say it would look good to put a quartz unit in this type of clock.
Oh.
A quartz unit would be good for a couple of years. And you could put another quartz unit in after a couple of years if you wanted to.
Now,
it all depends on your batteries. It'll normally last you 2 years on a battery.
What is the quartz unit? Those are those small, like 3" by 3" plastic
yes,
with a battery.
One battery, or some do take 2 batteries if they've got a pendulum type quartz.
So what you'd basically be doing is taking your clock and keeping the shell with what it's made from, and just taking the centerpiece, the movement.
Taking the movement, taking the motor, like an automobile, take the motor out of it and put a battery-operated motor in it.
Now that's not something you recommend for any normal clocks that...
Oh no, there's many clocks that are good clocks that's worthwhile fixing.
Okay.
And if you can't afford to get the clock fixed, and you like the clock, you might consider putting a quartz unit in it, only if you know you can perform the job of changing over.
Now, do you suppose that maybe later on we could do another video cast where you kind of show us how to put a quartz unit in like a Chinese clock coming in the future?
Mostly anybody can put a quartz unit in a clock, providing the clock itself will be
Adaptable.
That it's a
adaptable. Yes.
okay. All right.